They say nothing made by human hands can resist time, that everything we build, from temples to ideas, sooner or later is devoured by erosion, wind and forgetfulness. But what if that wasn't true? What if there once existed a formula, a mixture capable of defying the laws of nature and keeping its strength untouched for millennia? More than 2,000 years ago, in the humid heart of the Mesoamerican jungle, a civilization without steel, without engines, without electricity discovered something modern science is only beginning to understand. A material so resilient that neither hurricanes nor earthquakes nor centuries of rain have been able to break it. A concrete that breathes, that heals itself, that feels alive. Archaeologists have found it in temples, roads and cisterns, still standing, still unbroken after 20 centuries of tropical storms. And here lies the paradox that baffles modern engineers. Our most advanced concretes, the ones used in skyscrapers and bridges, can withstand forces 800 times the pressure of air. But the Mayan concrete, the one that conquered time, that still breathes after 2,000 years, barely reaches a tenth of that strength. The equation is devastating: brute force versus subtle harmony. While our buildings crack within decades, their temples have been breathing for millennia. Who were the Mayans, really? Astronomers, priests, or engineers of the soul? To us, concrete is just a mixture: lime, sand, stone and water, a soulless chemical reaction. But to the ancient Mayans, it was something else, something much more. They didn't see inert matter. They saw life asleep inside the stone, and they knew how to awaken it. In their manuscripts and oral traditions, lime was seen as the purifying fire, the substance that carried the spirit of the sun. Ash represented death, the gateway to rebirth. And water was the memory of the sky. Each component had both a physical and a spiritual purpose. They didn't just mix elements, they united forces. They didn't make cement, they made a pact between earth and humankind, between what remains and what changes. The Mayan builders worked with their hands, not with machines. They understood that the energy of the human body was part of the process. Each block was kneaded beneath the rising sun, when the air was pure and the earth more receptive. They sang prayers, not out of superstition, but because they believed sound vibration itself could awaken the memory of matter. Modern science is only beginning to grasp what they already practiced, that every vibration creates order, that sound can shape matter, and that human intention alters the energy of any creation. The ancients knew it, without formulas, because they observed it, they felt it. Mayan concrete didn't harden, it awakened. That's the difference. We manufacture dead structures. They created living organisms. Theirs didn't resist the environment, it cooperated with it. When touched by water, it grew stronger. When dried by the sun, it breathed. It was quite literally a living material in harmony with the earth. And perhaps that's why, after more than 2,000 years, their temples still breathe. Not only because they were well built, but because they were built with consciousness. If you've ever felt that certain places have a soul, that walls can breathe, that stone can remember, write in the comments. I believe matter can awaken too. Because what the ancients once called ritual, modern science is only beginning to call energy. For centuries, archaeologists believed the secret of Mayan concrete was nothing more than an accident, a primitive blend of lime and stone, nothing special, until a group of engineers decided to take a closer look. Year 2019, location Yucatan. An international team collects samples from a temple swallowed by the jungle. They want to understand why that wall, exposed to tropical storms for over 1,500 years, doesn't have a single visible crack. They use industrial tools, but the drill breaks before the stone does. What looked like ordinary limestone turned out to be something completely different. Under the microscope, its surface revealed no fractures, but microscopic networks of active crystals, as if the material were still alive. The Mayans called it tunic ku, the divine stone. They said the spirit of fire lived within it. In 2020, scientists from MIT and Harvard repeated the experiment with both Mayan and Roman samples, and what they discovered changed the history of engineering. They found crystals of quicklime, still reactive after centuries, tiny capsules of dormant energy waiting for water to wake them. When a crack forms, water enters, dissolves those crystals, and the material repairs itself. Self-healing, a modern word for an ancient technology. While modern concrete weakens with moisture, Mayan concrete grows stronger from it. What destroys our buildings gives life to theirs. Scientists call it the reverse carbonation reaction, but the Mayans knew it by another name, the breathing of the stone. Water wasn't their enemy, it was their ally, and that's the precise point where modern science begins to remember what the ancients never forgot, that matter responds to harmony, not to force. When the researchers published their findings, something unexpected happened. Engineers around the world began to rethink the very concept of durability. Suddenly, the future of construction was hidden in the past. What began as a simple archaeological dig ended as a mirror showing us that knowledge doesn't move in a straight line. It moves in circles. Knowledge was never lost, it just changed its language. The ancients spoke in symbols, fire and stone. We speak in numbers and formulas, but both were searching for the same thing, the perfect matter. The difference is that they added something we forgot: intention. If you believe modern science is only remembering what the ancients already knew, write in the comments, the stone still breathes, because every discovery we celebrate today was once an ancient truth. We believed we had surpassed the ancients. We invented machines, algorithms, indestructible materials. We raised skyscrapers that touch the sky, bridges that defy gravity. But what's the point of such height if the foundation is empty? In less than a century, we've built more than in all of human history, and yet our creations last less than ever before. Modern concrete cracks within decades. The most admired towers corrode. The most advanced systems fail with the first tremor. Meanwhile, the Mayan temples, covered by roots and centuries, still stand, silent, breathing. It wasn't time that destroyed our works, it was the way we built them. In our obsession with speed, we sacrificed harmony. We traded connection for production, patience for haste, observation for calculation. We build with formulas but without soul. The ancients built by listening to their surroundings, the humidity, the wind, the sun, the energy of the ground. We impose our technology on nature, and then we're surprised when she answers with cracks. Modern concrete fights against the world. The Mayan concrete worked with it. That is our greatest mistake. At some point, we confused efficiency with wisdom. We thought speed was progress, and we forgot that true durability isn't measured in meters, but in coherence. Our engineers chase resistance. The ancients sought balance. They designed to live with the rain. We designed to resist it. And that's the difference. Their structures grow stronger with time. Ours crumble. Maybe the real problem isn't in the materials, but in the mind that creates them. Because when purpose is corrupted, the structure follows. If you've ever felt the modern world is moving too fast, pause for a moment. Look around you. How many things built today will last 1,000 years? Write in the comments, I don't want speed, I want legacy. Because true progress isn't about conquering time, it's about cooperating with it. For centuries we believed that to build was to dominate, to impose form upon matter, to mold it, force it, make it obey. But the ancient Mayans thought differently. They didn't build against the world, they built with it. Every stone they raised was a conversation, not a conquest. And the secret of their mixture wasn't only in lime, ash or water, it was in intention. They knew matter responds to purpose, that a wall raised in anger will crack, but one raised in respect endures. The alchemists of the past said it another way. The energy of the Creator is imprinted in the creation, and today modern physics confirms that every vibration, every thought, every human electromagnetic field shapes the structure of matter. The Mayans didn't need equations to understand this. They felt it in their hands, in the air, in the fire. That's why their works weren't mere structures. They were energetic organisms. Mayan concrete didn't harden. It balanced. It sought harmony among the four elements: earth, water, air, and fire. Each component had its role, but only together could they remember the original design. When builders mixed it, they whispered songs. The sound marked the rhythm of the material's breath. It was as if the stones needed a heartbeat to be born. And that vibration, that frequency of coherence, is the same one neuroscientists now observe in the human heart when it is at peace. The body and the stone follow the same laws. When there is stress, they fracture. When there is balance, they heal. That's why the Mayans built temples as if they were bodies and treated the body as if it were a temple. Both came from the same blueprint, a living, self-healing, perfect design. The secret wasn't in the formula. It was in the relationship, in how they treated matter, in how they honored it. We measure strength in megapascals. They measured it in respect. And that's why, while our structures collapse with time, theirs still breathe. When you build in haste, matter retaliates. When you build with purpose, matter responds. Maybe true progress isn't about creating new things, but about remembering how to create with intention. If you've ever felt that a stone, a tree, or a house seems to have a life of its own, it's not imagination, it's memory. Write in the comments, matter still remembers, because knowledge that endures isn't passed down in books, but in vibrations. For centuries, we thought eternity was a myth, that everything born must die, that time devours all. But the ancients didn't see time as an enemy. They saw it as a teacher, and they understood something we've forgotten. What aligns with life doesn't age. Mayan concrete wasn't just a mixture, it was a metaphor, a lesson on how to live, how to create, and how to endure. Because it wasn't fire or stone or lime that made their concrete eternal, it was coherence, respect, the connection between intention and matter. What is built with truth, time doesn't destroy, it protects. We, the modern ones, abandoned that formula. We thought we could improve it. We replaced it with speed, with noise, with calculation. And in that race, we lost the essence. Today, the concrete of our cities crumbles at the same pace as our memory. But theirs is still alive, as if every wall carried a pulse, an ancient heartbeat whispering silently, "Remember." Maybe the real formula we abandoned wasn't made of minerals but of consciousness, of how we once saw the world, of how we honored the earth before we touched it. The Mayans understood that every structure is a mirror, that what you build outside reflects what you are inside. That's why their temples still stand, because they were built with a purpose greater than man himself. And while the modern world collapses under its own weight, their ruins remain, reminding us of something simple, sacred, and forgotten. We weren't created to dominate the earth, but to dialogue with it. Knowledge was never lost, it's only waiting for us to remember. Every block, every ruin, every crack is a lesson carved in stone, an invitation to rebuild not only our cities, but the coherence we lost as a species. If this message resonates with you, if somewhere in your soul you feel that the knowledge of the ancients was not magic, but memory, write in the comments, "I too want to remember the forgotten formula," because every video, every story is another stone in the reconstruction of who we are. Welcome to Ancestral Engineering, where modern science meets the wisdom of the ancients.